Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Savage Sports Podcast. This is Cody Waldrop. We're talking racquetball, sports, and other things. Right now, we're in quarantine mode. I'm here with Zach Williams from Houston, number 4 in Texas singles, number 125 in the world. How you doing, Zach?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, Zach, we're glad to have you. And yes, how are you doing right now during the quarantine?
Oh, I'm a little bit stir crazy, but I'm a board game player, so I've been able to pull out some of the old board games and enjoy a little family time.
Okay, what board games are your fancy? What do you like? I know my brother is a board game fanatic. He's not here right now, but he could tell me the good ones.
The good ones. We got some new ones over Christmas, so I've been playing a lot of Spirit Island and Terraforming Mars and a bunch of probably weird ones that no one's ever heard about.
Yeah, that's probably true. But eventually, I'm going to try and get some esports players on here, and I bet they will know about them. If you want, you can mention a couple more, or you don't have to.
Just some family fun ones like Survive, Escape from Atlantis, and Sushi Go. That's like a little one, but yeah, all kinds of stuff.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of none of those. So I'm sure you were also a good board game enthusiast. Me, right now, I've actually read some books and played some Nintendo on the Switch.
Hey, there you go. I'm doing that too.
Yeah, so I really got back into Pokemon, so I'm really maxing out my gym time.
Well, awesome.
We got to be in one gym or the other, right?
Exactly. That's what racquetball's like.
Yeah.
Going from one gym to the next.
Okay, so I was working a little bit backwards there, asking you that question. So tell us a little bit about you, about your racquetball career, and where you're at right now.
I am currently playing in Open, and I'm starting to tour on the IRT tour, going out to as many of the Tier 5 events as I can, and Tier 4 events, and then occasionally going up to a Tier 1 when I have friends in town and I can do a bit of both. But it has been great to just travel the USA and play different players and get to know a little bit more of these different styles that people have outside of Texas. So yeah. What else would you like to know?
So I'll just ask a separate question. That's a good introduction. So what's one of the coolest places that you've gotten to go to because of your travel through racquetball in these past 12 months? And describe how the racquetball was there, how you did, and then an event you got to do outside of that event that has nothing to do with racquetball, but you got to have fun doing that thing.
Yeah, so actually I was just up in Chicago, Illinois at the Shamrock Tournament Open, and it was a really great tournament. I didn't do too well in the pro division itself because I flew in and played within 2 hours of flying in. I had a game and I was defeated by the number 7 in Guatemala, and it was a good game, but I didn't feel like I performed as well as I should have. But in the Open division, I got to play the current number 11, Sebastian Fernandez, I believe, and I was able to get a game off him, and so that was a really I took him to tiebreaker, lost 11-4 tiebreaker, but that was a really big match for me. It was very, very cool, very enjoyable. But overall, lots of courts, lots of pros walking around. Great to be able to see everyone and kind of experience all that talent in one place. And then afterwards, I was able to go around. In Chicago there, I was able to visit downtown, see the giant bean, I guess is what it is, and the river, and I have some friends there, so we were able to tour around a little bit and see different coffee shops and enjoy Chicago. So
yeah, I'd say that's probably one of my things that I want to do too, is to travel playing racquetball and vacation on the side.
You should definitely go for that. Start doing that if you're not already. I feel like you are.
I am already doing that. I got to go to Vegas, and was gonna make my second trip to Louisiana doing the Warhawk. This weekend we were gonna have an interview together, myself and Zach, at the Warhawk Open in Monroe, Louisiana. I did the Super Bowl 2 years ago in New Orleans, and that was amazing.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, well, other than that, I was able to go up to Maryland for a little bit, and even Nebraska. I went to Omaha, Nebraska for a tournament there. All have been great and just really enjoyable tournaments, but also, yeah, as you said, it's good to kind of get out and see the place and see a little bit more of the different awesome cities in America. So.
Oh yeah, well, I think for me, since I do speak some Spanish, it's not just going to be America.
You'll be able to go south a little bit.
I'm already talking to the Mexicans and the guys in Costa Rica, so.
Even better. I lived in Mexico for 2 years in Cuernavaca, so if you ever get a chance, go down there. It's a really beautiful place.
Where was that place that you just said?
Cuernavaca. It's about an hour south of Mexico City.
Okay, yeah, that sounds pretty cool. And you just won a tournament recently, I believe last month, the Tornado Alley, right?
That's correct. In the Open Division.
In the Open Division. Okay. Now, tell us a little bit about your finals match and maybe your second favorite match of your bracket.
Well, the finals was against Dylan Savage, who is just a really amazing player, and him and we've actually only played twice, and it's been hard fought both times. This match was I came out really strong. I think this is how it went. I can't remember if he won the first one or not. I think I won the first one, but I came out really strong and took the first game. And I was up like 15-4 at one point. He brought it back, and he got like 8 points in the end. But the next game, he started serving his serves. He started hitting all of his first serves and pushing me, and I ended up losing that game like 15-3. And so he came back with a vengeance. And then the final tiebreaker, I was able to kind of get my rhythm going a little bit better, and took him in the tiebreaker. But he's always a hard guy to face. He's tall, he's fast, great power, and so it was a good win. But another good match in that tournament was I was able to face in the semis AJ Fernandez, who is just unbelievably athletic and unbelievably quick. I don't know if you've ever seen him play, but just a really tough opponent. In fact, if I ever hit it to his forehand side, I instantly lost the rally. So I had to finagle my way into an entirely backhanded game, and barely came out on top on that one too. Both really fun games though.
Yeah, I play since the outdoors. There's a few less people in the outdoors. I've played AJ in singles and doubles, and he's quite a bit better. Given that there's no back wall, I have a little bit better shot in the outdoor space. But yeah, his shots are killers. You got to take him off the court or don't take him at all. So I know exactly what you mean. He's kind of similar to Will Craig in that space. And I'm looking at the rankings right now. It looks like the Tornado Alley might have put you a rank above Dylan.
Yeah, I was able to I took Dylan's spot. He was ranked number 4 or number 5, and I played him back in November, I think. And then the next month I played in Maryland, and I defeated Mr. David Austin up in Maryland. And so it was been a little while, but he wanted it back. So I was able to defend the spot up at Wichita Falls Tornado Alley. They give out awesome trophies, by the way. If nobody knows about it, they give out this huge chalice. That's what it looks like. And,
well, I'll put up your Instagram account, and I'll ask you for pictures. To put up on Facebook and Instagram, and you can send me the picture of you with the chalice so everybody can see.
Sounds good. Yes, that's my buddy, my friend Mike Magana actually called me up. Was like, we need to go win these trophies, these chalices, because they're massive. I said, okay, let's go. So he ended up winning his division. I won my division. So
That's great. That's great. What division did he play in?
he played in the Open as well, but he didn't want to face me, and so he ended up losing to AJ in the first round. It was a tough first round, but he played very well, and I felt like his heart wasn't into it because he played in the I think it was over 40s, I believe, and he won that division.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So here's a side question I hadn't thought of before. What's the next position you want to take in the rankings? Where do you want to be by the end of the year?
Ooh, end of the year, I definitely my goal is top 50. That's been my goal from January. I'm trying to make it up into the top 50 players in the nation, and I'm not sure. I should be. I feel like I definitely can do that. I'm not sure how this pandemic is going to affect any of my current goals. So hopefully I'll be able to get some more practice in and come out on fire. But if they cancel tournaments for up until August or something, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? I hope that they continue tournaments again soon.
Well, the thing is, you'll just have to keep your training up, and then anybody who falls off, there will be people who fall off. So it's the guys who keep their training up that will, be able to move up on the guys who aren't working very hard. And so,
very true, very true. I have a secret court in my my townhome complex area that nobody knows about, so I'm able to go there sometimes.
and also as you know, there's so many different facets to racquetball that you don't have to be on court to be working on your game.
That's so true. There's so much you can work out outside of a court, and it's amazing how much of racquetball is kind of mental stability and being able to keep a level head and be able to strategize during the matches. And so, yep, there's always something you can be working on.
And for everybody who's out there who's taking a break, guys like you and guys like me are going to be watching film, trying to figure out how to beat these other guys.
Don't tell anyone.
No. The thing is, it's not a secret. Everybody knows that you're watching film, and everybody else should be watching film. But the question is, are you doing it? How much are you doing it? And who's helping you look at it?
Correct. It's always good to have a good coach or a couple of good opponents that you can kind of sit down with and analyze different opponents' games and be able to figure out what don't they like to hit and what do they like to hit.
Speaking of that, I looked all the way through your Instagram, and all the guys I saw that you hit with did pretty well at the Longhorn. It seems like you have a really high-level group of hitting partners in Houston.
Yes, there's actually quite a great, elite and open level. There's tons of open level players here. And in fact, one of the big reasons I started to tour on the IRT was because I have really great open level players here that I can play against. But of course, you kind of get used to their playing styles and their mental strategies and what they like to hit, what they don't like to hit. And so, even though there is such a good group of guys here, it's good to be able to travel around and see some new stuff and then bring it home, apply it, and then they start using it, and we all get better because of that. So that's one of the reasons I've been able to and been really enjoying touring on the IRT tour. So, but yeah, there's people like Mike Magana, Craig Clement, Joey Limoncello, Eddie Pavlovsky, Patrick Mascaro, just tons of guys that I play with. Sunil Musali, JP, that all just are so good. So it's been really, really great level here in Houston.
So that leads into my next question. I believe it's with Sunil Musali. You guys made a shirt together.
Yes, yeah, we did. Our double shirts.
Your double shirts. So tell me a little bit about that shirt. Explain the logo a little bit, since this is for audio. And what does it mean? Why did you guys do that?
Yeah, so we've been playing doubles together for a little while. We haven't had a ton of success yet, but But I told him, hey, let's make a shirt because that's intimidating. You know, if you show up and both people are wearing the exact same thing. So he was like, yeah. And actually, I came up with the idea to make a sword because to me, that's what I think of when I think of my racket or my weapon. I got to choose the right sword. You know, long sword, short sword. You know, all that kind of stuff. It's a little nerdy, I know, but that's what I think of, and that gets me going. So the sword idea was mine, but my wife, Meredith, she told me about this thing called a wordle, and I thought that was the weirdest sounding name for anything. But you take that image of a sword and they create it with just a bunch of different words. So the logo is a sword made out of words like racquetball, flat shot, kill shot, and then our names, and it just is it's all words racquetball related. And I like the look of it. And then on the one side you have an S for Sunil, and on the other side is Z for Zach. And on the front we have our logo name, which is Lethal, and that's what we're all trying to be on the court, lethal. So
okay, so here's a really good question for you for your shirt. Since racquetball is going to start growing in the next couple of years, I'm speaking it into existence. How are we going to be able to get you in Sunil's shirt? How are we going to be able to get this shirt?
Oh, well, currently, we just made those two of it, but, you know, if somebody really wanted it or wanted it later on, they would just contact me, I guess, through either Instagram, Zach Attack Racquetball, or my Facebook, and we'll be able to work something out. But if people begin to like it, I'll post on those two places how and where they can pick it up. Okay,
so those are your social medias?
Yeah, I mostly work right now with Instagram and Facebook, and I'm about to start a YouTube.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's really important, especially now. You can reach a lot of people with YouTube, and you can teach a lot of people with YouTube.
Exactly. That's the hope is that I can do a little bit more educational videos with the new YouTube and teach, you know, get people up to an elite level or higher quickly.
Yeah, and at least, and if not even that, we can just help people learn how to get to the basics and go from 0 to 1.
Exactly, teach them the rules. I do know that recently there's been an explosion of new racquetball players that I've never seen before at the different gyms that I play at, and so that's one of the reasons why I started doing the social media, was so that people can. They're playing, and they're playing consistently. I see them there all the time, but they don't even know the rules. You know, I can tell just by watching. So yeah, people don't. You're right to say that. Don't forget about just the basic stuff, making sure people know the rules and know how to play. Get them on the court.
So yeah, my goal is to help people get from nothing to a D level player. Let's get you able to hit the ball 80% of the time. You're not whiffing except at 2 times.
That's a good goal, and we were all there.
Yes, and everybody who watches you or me, I'm only a BC player, but when I play somebody who's pure beginner, they think I am just somewhere I'm definitely not.
That's okay. Everyone has something to look up to, and
yes,
you want to be able to teach them.
Yes, but some people think it's so hard because they're just at the very beginning stage, and so I like what you're doing with starting racquetball videos, because it'll help get people more comfortable and understand that no, you get better.
Exactly, you do improve. Sometimes it seems like a long way up the ladder, but I'll tell you what, just a little bit every day will get you where you want to be, and will get you beating some of those people in the gym that you've been wanting to beat for a long time.
Yes. Well, the beginner curve is very helpful as long as you're playing a couple times a week.
Correct. It really helps to get at least 2 times in a week.
Yeah, and with how addictive racquetball is, that is not a very hard thing.
It's so true. As soon as I started playing, it went from, oh, yeah, I know racquetball too. So when are we playing 6 days a week next week, you know?
Yeah, I know what you mean. If I could be playing 6 days a week right now, I would. So, you recently became a father.
Correct.
Okay. How has that changed your life first, and then how has that changed your approach to racquetball?
Well, life has been very different. There has been a lot less time, but my time is I love every minute of it. I've just had a little girl. She's 4 months old now, and so she was born in November, and it's been great. Love having a daughter. Love having her around, and it's just fun. I love it. I love being a dad, but it does take time away from racquetball. But I've still been able to keep up. I went from playing every day to about twice a week, and so a lot of what I'm doing now is just outside of the court stuff. Whenever I can't be on the court, I got one of these racquetball nets, and so I can practice on my racquetball net during the week when I'm at home, watching the baby sometimes, and just working on videos and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, all my time has to be quality. When I show up to the gym to play, I have to be going all out, and I have to be working on stuff. I can't just go hang out with the guys as much. But it's still possible. Very, very possible.
Oh yeah, that's actually what I was going to ask you. If you didn't say it, I was going to say, would you say instead of quantity, you have a lot more quality workouts now?
Yeah. Yes. It kind of is forced upon you.
Forced
Yes.
focus. Forced focus.
Forced focus. When I go to the gym, instead of 2 hours of playing with the guys or 3 hours of playing with the guys, and then when they all leave, do my own practice, it tends to be, all right, I have an hour to an hour and a half max, and I'm drilling for majority of it, and then part of it is like, all right, you can come test my drill, see if I actually have it or I don't have it, and our games are not quite the same.
Yes, there's no pansy shit. You're going all out.
Mm-hmm. All out all the time, and making sure that I'm learning something from it.
If it's anybody anywhere near your level, there are no holds barred.
Yeah, exactly. And I try not to I don't play with just the best guys. I try to play with anybody. But having a daughter, it does make it, I do want to still play with everybody, and I do, but I usually tell them, hey, I'm drilling, and so this is what I'm going to be drilling. I probably won't be holding back much. So then they can see what the next level looks like while I still get my practice in. Because I don't have the time to just, hit around everybody anymore, which is sad.
Well, one of the things that Scott McClellan put up on his Facebook page, at Scott Ref Ball or something like that, on Instagram, he put up a game to play with new players so that you can still drill at the same time.
Correct.
And so you can pick specific shots that you're already drilling on, and work on those. And I found that's for the players that I'm playing with that are a little under my level. It really helps me because all the shots are slowed down, so I get to get them in slow motion and to what I'm used to.
Exactly. You can hit a lot more. It's a lot easier to hit the ball when it's traveling a bit slower. But yeah, Scott has it right. It's definitely best to just kind of figure out a different way to drill while you play. And I don't think it's inappropriate to tell people that you're doing that. Say, hey, this is how I'm going to be playing, because usually they know that you're at a higher skill level. They want to be playing with you, and you want to be playing with them. So it's a good way that you can both play together and both enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. And I say if you want me to, I can go full speed on my serves, and then I'll go like 50% on everything else.
Exactly. Or oftentimes I will tell them, I'm only serving this serve, so you can cheat over, but it's going to be 100% because I'm working on my serve,
Right.
And it's amazing how, a D-level player can crush one of my best serves if they're waiting for it. So
if you tell them right side, and then you hit it to the right side in the corner, they might be there.
They might be there, exactly. It makes it quite fun, actually.
Yeah, and then it makes it even better if you can ace them.
Well, yeah, it forces you to be very, very pinpoint accurate. You can't just put it over there. You have to put it right into that perfect angle spot. So yeah, well, I'm glad everyone else is on board with that too, because it is a good way to go about it.
Yeah, I think so, and I think we'll think of even more things as time goes by and kind of get thought process from multiple people. But I really like that, and thank you, Scott, for that suggestion, and that everybody share that with everybody else. Um, so, going back to the quarantine,
Mm-hmm.
so you have a lot of time on your hands. What are two things you'd like to accomplish that you didn't think you would be able to accomplish? One racquetball and one home.
Well, let's see. I'll have to think about that one.
Mm-hmm.
So things that I can accomplish that I didn't think I'd be able to accomplish.
Mm-hmm. Or you might not have done if it weren't for the stoppage.
Well, I feel like I'm able to get a lot more exercise in since I'm at home and have a little bit more free time. So I'm able to kind of push all my footwork drills, SAQ drills, and all that kind of stuff. Get the cardio going so that if I do have a game, I am 120% ready. So that's been really nice to have a little bit more time to exercise. But outside the court, it's just been nice to spend more time with family. It's not as much work right now, but it's for the hopefully it won't be more than a week or two. But for this week or two, it's been very good just to be able to take a little time off travel and relax.
Oh yeah, we had to put the quarantine so you could relax a little bit, Zach.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
I'm sure your wife also appreciates it.
Oh yeah, she's a bit of a stressor, so she's a little stressed about it, but she's also enjoying it as well. But yeah, school and everything just seems to be put on hold.
Yeah, that's for sure. So going on to the next topic, we're going to go into the segment called "What's Grinding My Gears." I don't know if you've watched Family Guy before, but
very little, but I know of it.
Okay, so what are one or two things that are making you mad right now about the current state of racquetball? And then if you have any suggestions, what would you do to counteract that?
Yeah, so there's probably two things that kind of grind my gears a little bit in the current racquetball world. I'd say my biggest personal peeve is the late release of tournament brackets. It makes it really challenging to plan your travel, and it's always helpful to know who you're playing so you can begin strategizing at least a day or two ahead of time. And currently, one of my recent tournaments, I asked one of my friends who flew in to this tournament. I was like, "Hey, who are you playing?" And it's the day of. He's playing in like an hour, and he's like, "Oh, I don't know. They haven't released the brackets." So that's definitely I think that's one of my biggest pet peeves is just the late release of brackets. Another thing that bugs me is that there aren't any professional photo requirements for the USA Racquetball website profile pictures. I don't know if you've noticed this, but for me, there's nothing more frustrating than when I'm trying to find my next opponent. Let's just say it's John Smith or something. And work out a strategy depending on their picture, because I'm like, well, how tall are they? How old are they? Are they just 16 or are they 45? What's their fitness level? And when I go and look at their profile picture, it's a picture of a cucumber. And I'm like, well, I got no information. So I'd love to see if maybe the top 50 in each, if they put some requirements on that. So maybe the top 50 in each state require some standardized profile picture for all of those people, and we can kind of get a little bit more professional look to it. Those are probably my top two peeves and the things I would fix.
Yeah, I got professional pictures for my photo. Everybody else should have some for theirs.
I totally agree.
If you're not willing to spend $200 to get a profile picture, why are you spending $500 to go move around the country?
Exactly. Yep. And I guess if you don't mind, I might mention one more thing. But
yeah,
I really like how the LPRT has begun to make changes that really cast the sport in a very professional light. for example, they have players like they do in football or basketball or baseball, where they'll right before the match they'll pop up on the screen and they'll pose, do a little movement or something, and then give you some of their stats, and then the game begins. I think the IRT could really, the men's side of things could really benefit from just kind of making a little bit more professional stand and do what some of these other ESPN's quote unquote sports do, because it's not as often. They do a great job commentating and all that kind of stuff, but if they did a little bit more of the visual side would be really, really good to see.
Oh yeah, that would be great. One of the things that we're gonna do at the podcast for the IRT, a couple of matches, me and Jody are gonna do some shit talking over matches. So we're gonna have some commentating that makes sense and is funny, so that people can watch it and laugh.
That sounds like fun, because it's good to have a little bit of humor thrown in there.
Yeah, so that should be fun. But yeah, I totally agree that we need to get more interactive content like they have for the LPRT into the IRT content. And I think that'll just take time and probably IRT, LPRT working together. But yeah, the LPRT is definitely changing little by little, almost every 3 to 6 months, and so they're making good changes, like you said.
Yeah, it's impressive to see, and it's encouraging to see.
Yeah, and if you've seen their homepage, the LPRT homepage, they just had a revamp, I think, a month or two ago.
Really? I'll try and check it out and see what they've done.
Yeah, I was really able to easily see all the pictures of the LPRT pros. You know how you were just talking about they need a professional photo?
Mm-hmm.
All of the girls had at least a pretty good photo.
Yeah, a lot of the changes that I suggested were based on watching the LPRT versus the IRT, because I think it really drove it home the other day when all the LPRT is making all these changes. You can clearly see who these two women are, and they have the images pop up, and they'll pose or something. And on the men, I went and watched an IRT thing, and I don't even know if they had the score up. It was just it was just them playing, and I was like, oh, come on, we gotta catch up. We have to be better. We have to take it seriously, and they do, and I'm glad that they do. I just think that I just like the changes that the LPRT are making, and I'd like to see it also for the men's side.
Yeah, and I think another thing they could do with the IRT broadcast is maybe have what the LPRT is doing with the broadcasting. Have you been listening to some of their broadcasting? They've been bringing in the players to do the broadcast, half of it.
Mm-hmm. They'll bring in a player like Marianne, who you interviewed recently, and stuff like that. And it's great to see a player's perspective and point of view, because oftentimes they will catch something that I, as a watcher, did not, because they're there.
Yeah, and also most of the players in both LPRT and IRT can speak Spanish, so we should. Within a few years, we should start working on having English and Spanish so that we can reach the most people.
Agreed, and that would not be very difficult. You could have the same game, same channel, just one side's in Spanish, one side's in English, or at least flip back and forth a little bit. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and I'd say most of the racquetball players in Texas, I'd say at least 50% of them speak a little bit of Spanish, so we could at least have subtitles if we had all Spanish.
Agreed. That would be a really a necessary and a really great change.
Yeah, because there's a lot of matches that I want to listen to that are from Colombia and Mexico, but I can't. I don't necessarily understand what they're saying because they speak really fast.
It's very quick, and sometimes you get into the different dialects and the different, certain regions will use a word differently than others, and it will throw you off.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm going to throw you a curveball question.
Okay.
So one of the things that I like to do sometimes when I'm watching people is look for shots that I'd like to take and try and implement into my game.
Mm-hmm.
What's a shot that you've seen that you'd like to implement into your game that you haven't implemented into tournament playing?
Oh, I saw this off the back wall kill shot the other day. I don't. This would be so cool if you could get this consistent. But the ball is by you, and they've won the point. But you do a flying dive, Superman dive towards the back wall, and you hit it off the back wall straight into a kill shot into the front wall. I saw someone do that the other day, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever.
Okay, so what's a shot that you added to your arsenal that you took from somebody else and is now part of your tournament play?
Let's say, I think recently, oftentimes I will take serves from people. That's one of my during a tournament itself. Changing up your shots in the middle of the game is convenient, but usually I try and stick with high percentage and down the wall cross court, and then occasionally a pinch. but serves is something that I will take from people if a really like a kind of a lob Z works really well against me. Or right now, a lot of the pros have been using just this really effective lob nick that almost touches the ceiling. It's different serves that people have been using against me, and I will quickly, by the next tournament, I will have learned that serve, and I'm using it on everyone else. And so that's what I've been doing. I try and steal a lot of serves from people that are very effective.
Okay, yeah. Here's my example of that. For about 2 or 3 years, I was playing at the Canes Club in Austin, and I got to watch him play. On the side of me playing. And so I got to watch him play those guys over there and just watch him do tweeners, just going like 15 miles an hour himself, and absolute winners every time. And I finally got that into my tournament play.
Okay. Well
and
done.
I could say I had an awful last tournament, and the only shot I could hit effectively, I was 2 for 2 on tweener killers.
That's awesome. Well done.
So
one day I'll do that too.
Okay, well, promise me that you will practice it before using it in tournament, because they are very low percentage until you practice them.
Yeah, I always practice. If it's going to be a crazy shot or some kind of weird, like, okay, you're running backwards off the ceiling ball and you just push it into the corner from way up high. Always practice. Always practice.
Well, I know you have enough practice time, so I can say that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Okay. So I think that's about it for today. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with racquetball right now. I'd say the only thing that I expect we'll play for sure is going to be the U.S. Open right now.
Well, good. At least there'll be one. At least there'll be one tournament.
I'm hoping we can get back up by June. May would be awesome.
Well, we'll definitely be. I'm over here praying that everything will kind of blow over soon, and that we can all get back on the courts and back to racquetball as a community. Part of the reason we play it is because everybody who plays it is fun and enjoyable, and we just want to be out there with each other. So hopefully we can get back to that soon.
Okay, and now remind everybody where they can reach you on social media, and where can they find you?
Yeah, so I try and post on my Instagram. It's Zack Attack Racquetball, and it's Zack Attack _racquetball. And then I have a Facebook profile that's also Zack Attack Zach Williams or Zack Attack Racquetball. And I will be starting YouTube soon. And I'd just like to say thank you for asking me to do this interview. And also, I do have a sponsor, Ashaway String Company. I love them. I love the Ashaway String, and I always use the Power Kill Pro, and so the 16 gauge, and it is awesome. So if you ever get a chance, give that one a try.
How many colors does Ashway have of the strings?
So many. It seems like they have all the. I always use their red one. They have a red string that I love, but they have the red, the white, and one's like multicolored red, white, and blue almost. So yeah, there's tons.
Okay, man. Well, I think we had a great interview. Let's catch up another time. Hopefully we'll be able to do this again in 6 months, and hopefully we'll have been playing racquetball for 3 months straight.
Sounds good, Cody. Thank you so much for the call.
All right. Have a great day, man.
You too. Take it easy.
Okay. Bye-bye.